Hello all of you beautiful people, Jules here for WhatCulture.com, and today I'm going to talk to you about the wonders that are unlockable skins. What's that? In this day and age, you don't know what an unlockable is? Well, believe it or not, kids, there was once a time in the long ago where you used to have secrets and extra features hidden on a game's disc that you could actually access through skill or persevering through challenges. I know, it seems absolutely mad to not have to pay for something like this, right? Well, fear not, because we're going to take that disbelief that I see written all over your faces and push it even further by talking about unlockable costumes that are honestly bizarre. From crabby canines to voluptuous velociraptors, we're going to err into the world of the strange and look at some skins that really make you question what the developers were huffing. So come gather round, you meat sacks, as I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 video game skins that you won't believe that you can unlock. Number 10. Baseball Furies outfit, the Warriors. We begin this list with what is essentially a bit of fan service to lovers of the amazingly cheesy but brilliant film that makes my bottles clack with joy, The Warriors. This film and its amazing video game adaptation that was handled by Rockstar, by the way, is a vibrant, quotable and downright bopping time. And that is down in part to the incredibly colourful array of gangs that can be found. The Turnbull ACs, the Mimes, the Punks, and my personal favourite of all, the Baseball Furies, whose skin you could don should you complete the game 100% on the hardest setting and then select the Unleash the Fury mode. This now posits you in a painted outfit of the Silent Furies and allows you to run rampant all over the city. However, that is not the only bonus, for if you reach the chapter in which the Warriors come toe-to-toe with this gang, they've all been replaced with warrior models, meaning that you're effectively inside a parallel universe. Now that I can dig. Number 9. David Hasselhoff, South Park: The Stick of Truth. It's honestly amazing to see how well Stick of Truth transitioned all of the style, the writing, and most importantly, the bizarre humour from the South Park show to its game. I reckon that many people were worried that the jokes would fall flat or risk being censored, but then again, after farting on a dead Nazi baby, I think these fears were laid to rest. One of the lesser talked about moments, though, was a skin that you could unlock for your character by visiting the plastic surgeon in the town and selecting the Hoff from the list of procedures. Now, I won't lie, it is a pricey investment both in terms of cash and the very likely painful surgical procedure, but it is absolutely worth it to see those radiant locks of hair and perfect cheekbones once you step back out. There's really no benefit to this other than an achievement that's tied to completing the game looking like the Knight Rider star, but then again, when else are you going to get this opportunity again? Number 8. Crab Dog, Rule of Rose. As a fan of survival horror games, my interest was definitely piqued when I was told of a title called Rule of Rose, a game that dropped onto the PS2 that unfortunately I never got to play because it was actually banned in the UK for apparently a mistake that was made with what the game's content included. After researching it for this list, I can only say that I'm gutted that I didn't get the chance to play what appears to be, I don't know, what you'd call an art house psychological thriller that sees protagonist Jennifer and her dog Brown try to survive all sorts of imps and terrors that's set against a World War II backdrop. Its narrative is utterly bananas as well, being rewritten as events unfold and Jennifer's memory returns, meaning that she actually changes the environments and interactions to suit this new information. The combat is equally odd. I say that because enemies are hard to hit and fighting is pretty clumsy, almost like you're trying to grab a slippery fish, which actually kind of makes sense seeing as you can dress up Jennifer as a giant octopus through one of the unlockable skins. Yet who cares about the human in this situation because Brown becomes a crab. I honestly don't know what else I need to say other than that your dog companion becomes a crab who follows you around and helps you out in battle with its little pincers. Utterly brilliant. Number 7. Alien Suit, Dead or Alive. How can I make a list about odd video game skins and not include this absolute assault on the eyes and utter fashion crime that is Zack's alternate outfit in the Dead or Alive series? I simply couldn't, and so here it is in all its shiny and wiggly glory. Now, we're all aware that Zack is a bit of a character with an overabundance of sass and a huge penchant for getting busty women to his island to play volleyball, which have a nasty habit of exploding for some reason. Yet, while that explains the chrome as it's louder than life, it doesn't explain the, floppy extension that takes up residence on his forehead. This is just totally weird, making him look like some sort of lost Teletubby character who was axed because the kid started telling parents that a muscled man was trying to kick the head off Poe and make Tinky Winky self-conscious. The devs were clearly aware of this odd skin's reception and even included a little moment where Zack's, member is sliced off in a later title. It's a hilarious and utterly outlandish outfit and I simply adore it. Number 6. Classic Max Payne, Max Payne 3. Now I know this next one is cheating a little as you do have to pay a whopping 49 pence for this skin, but for the cost of a Mars bar I totally think it's worth sharing this joy with you all today. Now if there's one thing that you can say about the original Max Payne, it's that this was one of the innovators of bullet time violence and offered players a stark and sobering tale of gritty revenge. You could also say that the lead Max had a face that looked like a cat's anus. As the game was much more focused on the action and slow motion stunt diving, it appears that not as much love was given to Max's face, which became a hugely parodied moment across the internet. So much so that when Rockstar came to resurrect the series, they included this flat-faced, squinty-eyed mug as a DLC skin. And trust me, you are never going to laugh as much as you will watching the single-player cutscenes play out with this ridiculous face delivering the lines, especially when he smiles. Ugh, brilliant. Number 5. Panda costume, ONIMUSHA Warlords. Oh me, oh my, it's time to talk about a game that doesn't get nearly enough love in this day and age, ONIMUSHA Warlords. This survival horror slash-em-up combined the over-the-top drama of the Resident Evil series and borrowed its tank controls for good measure. Now the big difference here though was that you were able to dish out as much punishment as you took, making for tactical and often very tense sword fights. However, let's say things got a bit too intense, that all these zombies and nasty horrible ogres were starting to make your trousers leak. Well, why not alleviate this fear by putting Samanusuke, the main protagonist of the game, inside a massive panda suit. If that's not enough for you, then look at the little panda cub in his front pouch, which claps along at all the violence you end up causing. It's adorable and silly in equal measure, and to be honest, I found a new sense of purpose with this costume because now I wanted nothing more than to keep my little Tamago safe, and yes, that is right, I named it, and I will cut you up if you make fun of me for it. Sorry about that. Finally, as an even greater incentive to use the suit, you can hold L2, which makes him don the panda head. Excellent. Number 4, numerous costumes, God of War franchise. If there is one person who you do not want to be caught laughing at, it is Kratos, the literal god of war from the aptly titled Angry Father series of video games for the PlayStation. And yet, for some reason, possibly to try and round out the character a little, the devs have hidden a ton of unlockable costumes in the God of War games. Such amazing attire changes include Kratos cooking up a storm as a chef, donning a scaly suit of armor as a massive fish, and even a potato. Yeah, that one's probably the weirdest one, right? Yet if you're looking for my personal favourite, then it has to be what is lovingly described in the game as Dairy Bastard, which sees the angriest bold man on the planet, outside of myself when someone eats all the Vitalite at work, slip into the utterly wonderful guise of a cow. And along with this comedic presentation gets the bonuses of infinite magic and double the amount of orbs collected in the game. True, you will end up doing half the damage as normal, but that just gives you more time to marvel at the image of this man who's on a quest for vengeance, doing so as a cuddly cow. Very, very amusing. Number 3, cheerleader outfit, Killer Instinct. Did someone order a sexy raptor? No? Anyone? Well, okay, I've got one here regardless. I honestly don't know what to say other than at some point, someone who worked on the Killer Instinct reboot of 2013 decided that Riptor, a genetically engineered dinosaur made by a super shady corporation called Ultratech as a biological weapon, would look absolutely spiffing in a cheerleader's outfit. Now don't get me wrong, go local sports team and all that, but this is such a sight to behold that's almost baffling. My only reasoning behind this outfit is that A, it could have been an extremely clever approach to the mind game of combat, putting your opponent off with your pom-poms as it were before slicing out their neck, and or B, that this is the internet and it was just made because people have some very, very strange sexual appetites. Number 2, a real pair of boxer shorts, CLAYFIGHTER 63 1/3. So, I know I bent my rules slightly earlier on in this list with the fudge-faced Max Payne entry, but I'm going to do so again and invert the rule, as this next entry details an item of clothing that was unlocked by playing a game but in real life. Now, attending gaming conventions and getting a hat or a t-shirt is pretty commonplace in this day and age, but when was the last time that you were offered a legit pair of boxer shorts for competing in an event? Well, that's exactly the promotion that was run for CLAYFIGHTER 63 1/3, an N64 game that combined claymation and violence in a way that no one had seen or known they so badly wanted before. And look at these undercrackers. I mean, these should be in an art museum, featuring a pristine white cotton base with elasticated waist and tons of the roster all plastered over. I mean, the game itself might have middled in the "it's kind of fun for about 30 minutes with a mate" category, but these rare beauties, well, put it this way, I eBayed them to see if there were still any available. That is how good I think they are. And number 1, Paradise Mode, Ghost Squad. The transition of light gun games from the arcades to the home console was never really something that was truly capitalized on, outside of the Wii getting very into them very late in the day. And it's a shame as well, because many absolutely brilliant titles like Time Crisis and The Lord Upon High that was Point Blank have all now seemingly faded away. However, in amongst all of these gems is another shining example of the silly, and that is Ghost Squad, a title that on paper seems about as run-of-the-mill as you can get, being a military shooter tasking you and your highly trained team with taking out terrorists threatening peace and freedom. Sounds a bit boring, right? Well, what if I told you that this game also includes a secret mode called Paradise Mode, which turns the terrorists into bikini-clad women, and now your guns are turned into water pistols? That is something that I genuinely didn't see coming when I first booted up the game, and to be honest, I could have totally done without their pleasure moaning when you kill them, but as it stands, for a bit of stupid fun, it's a bizarre and comedic feature of a pretty well-made FPS title. Plus, it gives all of that melodramatic voice acting that your commander gives you that much more of a ridiculous edge. And there we go, those were 10 video game skins that you won't believe that you can unlock. I hope that you enjoyed that, my friends. It's just a bit of a silly list from me to you to try and brighten up your day with a Tesco brand comedy entertainment that I provide. Let me know down below what you thought about it, as well as any other entries that you would add to this list for a future one, because I might come back and do a commenters edition. But before I go, I just have one more thing to say. We talked a lot today about video game skins, and I hope that you are comfortable in yours. It's quite common for people to put on a brave face when things aren't going their way, but I just want to say to you that it is okay to ask for help if you need it. I know it's a very difficult conversation to have with a few people, but opening that dialogue might allow you to look at your problems in a different way, and who knows, that new perspective and newfound energy might help you get there quicker.